I'm the nostalgia critic. I remember it so you don't have to. Today, we are looking at movie feces, the leavings of a totally horrible piece of crap. And, oh, look at this, look at this. I have found a spectacular one right here. That is fucking nasty. If we're lucky, we may be able to track down what produced this horrible piece of dung. Ah, just as I suspected, I thought this came from a Tim Allen comedy. Right over there, you can see what produced this wretched piece of shit. Jungle to jungle.
It starts in the heart, way down in your soul.
Look at how sloppy the writing is. Look at how confused the humor is. And ask yourself why the hell there's a 2 in the title even though this is a remake and not a sequel. We must be very quiet while we observe it, but let us venture forth and see what could possibly create such a giant piece of anus butter. Look at that. Oh yes, we observe here the cleanest and most pasty white of Amazon tribesmen, who like to stand on the edge of mountaintops and scream inspiringly for the trailer. We then cut to the next best thing that this family film surely thinks will get the kids invested, the stock market.
300 lots of coffee futures? You call that a hunch?
No, Richard, I call that an opportunity.
300 lots in this market is not an opportunity, it's a death wish.
Knowing that your kids are no doubt sucked in by all this technical talk, the film then proceeds to go to a subject matter that kids want to hear even more about. Divorce proceedings.
I'm getting married to Charlotte in 30 days. In order to do that, I need the divorce from Patricia.
You'll overnight in Caracas, then fly to Canaima the next morning where you'll be met.
Thanks. See you in 2 days.
So Tim Allen's character, whose name you will never call him, so let's just keep calling him Tim Allen, is off to the Amazon to get a divorce from his wife so he can marry another woman. Weird and complicated? Oh, that's merely the icing on this cake of bullshit.
We received this letter from your wife today. Senora Cromwell says that she could not come to Canaima, but she wants us to get you to Lipo Lipo.
Wait a second, what are you talking about? I traveled 3,000 miles to get here and she doesn't show up? What's that about?
After being attacked by deadly rubber fish, Tim Allen enters this knockoff of the mission and we see his wife Patricia. Notice how their hairstyles indicate that they met at a Mark Summers Jew Fro convention. Very popular in the 90s.
We weren't even married a year and you walked out on me.
And now you want a divorce and you think I'm going to hit you up for money.
We both want a divorce. And aren't you?
I don't want any money.
Great.
So we observe that she left because he didn't listen to her much when they were married. I guess he also didn't listen to the part where she was apparently leaving. Nor the incredibly forced plot point that he has a son.
Know it at the time, but I was
97 and a quarter. Am I greedy? I'm feeling pretty greedy. I'm going to
pregnant
wait
with your
till
son.
97 and a half.
The boy sitting next to the fire over there is your son. I must have started 1,000 letters to tell you, but every one of them started with, I know you never wanted children.
This is nuts. This is nuts. This is unbelievable.
I was confused.
You know what you just
I
said to
didn't
me?
know what
This is
to do.
unforgivable.
I'm not asking you to forgive me, but he didn't do anything, so don't blame him.
So, as you can quickly observe in this film, these are all, in fact, horrible people. She has a son for 13 years and never tells him. He's too invested in his stocks and bonds. And there's a Tarzan wedlock because of it.
Mimi Siku.
Hi, Mimi Siku. I'm Michael Cromwell.
The boy's name is Mimi Siku. And yes, I've heard manlier names out of Paranormal Activity as well.
Palaku tells me that I'm your father. That's a nice pot you have.
And as you can clearly see, poor Tim Allen can't even tell the difference between a pot and a pan. Right? He got that wrong, didn't he? There's some controversy about that. Don't leave any comments about we're not doing another fuck-up video. So he thinks that his son can't understand him, but the child reveals the next day that he can, thus adding to the contingency of liars that makes up this family.
I've got to go back to my village. I'm a trader. That's what I do.
This in your village, yes? Women who hold fire up Sky's butt?
I've never had her described quite like that.
This, of course, raises the question how anyone, even a lone tribesman, can confuse raising a hand as holding something up the Sky's butt. Would answering a question in class be considered the Sky's cavity check? Would a high five make these two the Sky's proctologists? Even Mimi, we see, is double-fisting the Sky up the anus earlier. So we come to the conclusion that there's deduction, and then there's just morons. And the morons who encourage the morons.
When I'm a man, will you take me to the Statue of Liberty?
Sure. Why not? Yeah.
We then see Mimi's pet spider, Matika, who Alan does not treat very well.
I will crush you like a bug.
This is another curious moment. If the spider is in fact his pet, why does he look so playful when Alan plunges a rock after it, almost smashing it to smithereens? If, say, someone threw a rock at your cat, would you laugh it off as a comedic moment? Let's find out.
Oh my god, crackers! Crackers, no!
No.
Son of a bitch, you killed my crackers!
Baboon is your Panari name.
Baboon?
Well, at first they wanted to go with man who must be smarter than he looks.
If we get to pick our own names, I'd like to pick this. Man who's extremely well endowed.
This moment brought to you by Disney. It turns out Mimi goes through a ceremony that officially makes him a man. So, he expects Alan to hold up his end of the bargain and take him to New York.
Mimi, see, I have to be back at the exchange floor. I'm getting married. I cannot take you tomorrow.
Here, if you make a promise, you keep it.
Perhaps she means like the promise she made that she would meet Alan outside the plane at the airport, thus not putting him in this mess to begin with. Hypocritical bitch.
This is the most important day in your son's life. And now you're going to humiliate him in front of the whole tribe by not keeping the first promise you ever made to him?
The son you only told him about 2 days ago, again, hypocritical biatch.
Me happy to be with you, Baboon.
As you probably deduced, he of course decides to take him with and not bring the mother for some reason. You know the drill, bitch of the hypocritical type. As we see Alan meets up with his assistant.
Why didn't you sell?
You did not confirm.
What's coffee doing now?
It's under 90 cents and gone limit down for 15 years, Michael. You say sell, I say confirm. Sell, confirm, sell, confirm. You confirm, and I sell. You didn't confirm, so I didn't sell.
Once again, children get to hear that riveting stock market talk. No wonder they put this as a double feature with Wall Street. Oliver Stone would be so proud.
By tomorrow morning, it could be 85 or lower.
We just wait it out. Something will happen. The market will turn around.
His boss isn't happy that the stocks they didn't sell are now doing poorly, and Mimi misinterprets this as set Spider loose to commit murder.
Look up! It's an alien circle with Mickey Rourke's picture in it. Look at it!
Martika killed Chief.
I said I was going to go fight the chief, not kill the chief. Around here, only postal employees kill chief.
You may also catch on to Tim Allen's only role in this movie, and that's to recite all the lines that didn't make it into unfunny episodes of Home Improvement.
After you pee, you put the seat back down. Females and tribes start war over this.
Magic.
No, magic will be if he understands English. Yellow number 5 and zinc oxide. They've added a sunblock to it.
Wait, I tell a lie. Many of those jokes were from the Geico Caveman show. Yeah, you totally forgot that existed, didn't you? So Alan goes to see his fiancée, who is a fashion designer, and Mimi immediately falls in love with Martin Short's daughter, played by Lily Sobieski.
Angel on table.
And now we come to the public service announcement part of our show. This is for all you aspiring writers out there. For everybody out there who's looking to get something published in Hollywood, don't ever use the word angel in your screenplay. Ever. Remember how well it worked in the first Spider-Man movie?
You grabbed me and said, Aunt May? Aunt May? Is that an angel?
That was heinous. How about when that little Star Wars pimple said it?
Are you an angel?
Any movie even starring an angel seems to be geared for pig shit failure. So please, do yourself a favor and act like you never heard of them. Unless you're doing a parody of It's a Wonderful Life. That's okay. After Mimi pulls a stunt walking on the ledge of a building, Alan's fiancée is concerned that she doesn't have what it takes to look after him.
I don't think so,
Mimi's
Michael.
just visiting. I want to show him a good time. After that, he goes back home, and we can go back to being exactly the way we were. Entirely wrapped up in ourselves.
Just like real New Yorkers. But Mimi finds it still rather difficult to fit in.
Bonjour. Bonjour. We are all so happy today. Let's go.
Wow! After you calm down your children from seeing a pigeon getting stabbed through the neck, you yourself might be wondering, is this funny or horrifying? Even that woman's scream seems hostilely brutal. You laugh, but then you ask, am I going to hell for laughing at that? Either way, it deserves the Disney logo. Alan has to go to work, so he puts Mimi in the hands of his fiancée.
Wait, I can't watch him.
You don't need to babysit him. He'll be fine.
Yes, you don't need to babysit a kid who walks around on the ledge of buildings, sets loose killer spiders, and nearly decapitates innocent birds. He'll be a welcomed addition to the state penitentiary. Oh, and we can add sex offender to that lineup too.
Nice poochie poochie.
That is the last poochie poochie you're gonna see around here, you little savage!
Ah, yes. This is yet another classic Disney phrase that'll make it in the Disney archives. Hakuna Matata means no worries, Zippity Doodah means what a wonderful day, and Pushy Bushy means vagina. I can see that on children's shirts in a millisecond. So Matika is set loose again to partake in what I think is the 5th overused spider joke. And Mimi sets his sights for the Statue of Liberty, and even manages to make his way there undetected. Even though all these people are looking right at him, and yet they tell no one. An interesting trait of New Yorkers, but not a surprising one. Alan is called in about Mimi climbing the statue, and he tries to explain the ways of New York life.
Didn't I tell you to wait in the apartment?
I want to see Statue of Liberty.
I said we'd do that tomorrow.
Always tomorrow. You're too busy for Mimi Siku. I want to see Statue of Liberty. I go.
Now you might be asking yourself, wasn't he just saying me instead of I in an earlier scene?
Me happy to be with you, baboon.
Well, there's a very good reason for that. Oh, fuck it, I just want to hear that woman scream again. So his assistant finds someone else who is interested in buying the stock, which it turns out is the Russian mafia.
Introduce my comrades to you. Stand up. Sink your sit down. Come. We talk beans.
You might be wondering how a movie about a boy in a jungle got to a point in the story where they're talking about the Russian mafia. We're gonna take a short little break while I figure that out. Boy in a jungle, Russian mafia. Okay, I think I figured it out. The loyalty of the stockholders is at risk, so they ask several people around who have money. They all have zany solutions to the problem, but one seemed investment worthy, with no backfires at all. So they entered into a deal of business with them, sneakily and smoothly. That might be it too.
I want guarantee that price not drop below 75.
Well, would you look at that? It appears we have come across Jumba from Lilo and Stitch. No, I'm not even kidding. That's really him. He's also Codsworth and the bad guy from Pocahontas. Obviously, what this movie is trying to say with this casting decision is that Russians are a light-hearted, cartoony folk, if you will, that shouldn't be taken too seriously on any occasion. I mean, just look at their leader. He looks like a funny guy. Alan tells the assistant to get out of the deal, but he foolishly sells the stock to them anyway. But this doesn't get in the way of more sentimental moments like this one.
Why did Palico leave you, baboon?
I probably took her for granted.
Now you with Charlotte.
Yes, I am.
Many females in your village, baboon.
Mm-hmm.
Why you pick only one?
Well, when you pick one to love, it's very different.
By the way, don't you love how he had to think about that for a moment? He didn't immediately turn it down. Like he thought to himself, yes, I should get some more hoes in my life. But obviously, something snapped him out of it.
Many females in your village, baboon.
Mm-hmm.
Why you pick only one?
Oh, no. Well, when you pick one to love, it's very different.
So Alan convinces the mafia later that they want to buy the stock because they don't want to do dealings with the Russian mafia, but as soon as they do buy the stock back, it goes up, making the mafia think they scammed them on purpose. And again, do your children really have the slightest interest in any of this? Why don't we go back to showing Pocahontas for the girls and more animal abuse for the boys?
Tarzan's eating Daddy's fish.
That's right. While staying at the assistant's house, he cooks up his $1,000 fish. And oddly enough, the most emotion you'll feel for any character in this movie is for the loss of his finned little friends.
What we have here is an intercultural misunderstanding.
Oh, why don't you tell that to my yellow dwarf cichlids? Because they can't hear anymore.
There's still one left.
Winky. My most loyal fish. Remember how you used to always follow my finger across the glass? Now I'm gonna have to go like this.
Everybody go to bed. It's late. Give me this.
No.
Yes, come on, sweetheart. All right. Minnie, you go to bed too.
It's just, you know, I mean, it's one thing to...
Come on.
What's Alan up to during all this? Playing with the blowgun, of course, like a rational parent would. Now, some of you may find the abundance of animal cruelty in this movie slightly disheartening, but not nearly as disheartening as Mimi starting his one-boy cult. For as you can observe, he paints her face, has her speak a new language, and even gives her a new identity.
It's pretty.
Her parents must be thrilled.
John! You started a wildfire in my yard. You ate my yellow dwarf cichlid. And now you're putting the moves in my 12-year-old daughter.
Nothing happened.
Well, you know what, Karen? You're still going to camp. An all-girls camp.
My name's not Karen anymore. It's Akume.
That's right, Karen's your slave name. However, the Russian mafia breaks in and holds the family hostage, including little Lily Sobieski. Now, that seems kind of pointless. We all know that she's going to join a shady Russian business in the future anyway.
Now, I teach you never to make a fool of Jovanovich again.
But look, shh, don't interrupt. We are witnessing what many Disney films were experiencing at that time. A painfully awkward forced slapstick climax. Shh, let us marvel at how unfunny it is. Not one gag is working.
I'm coming out!
Not even the slightest giggle.
Get up, man! Show me what the Kempsters are made of!
Notice the absence of a smile on my face. Oh, well, I hope you feel privileged about what you just witnessed. What was up with the Vulcan thumping? So the Russian mafia are scared away by a spider. I do wish I was exaggerating that. And we see that Mimi has to go back home. Alan tries to give back the blowgun, but the son wants him to keep it.
If you kill a fly, you'll be a real Panari.
Yeah, like that's gonna happen.
So it turns out one day at the stock market that he does in fact see a fly, literally stabs his boss in the back for it, says fuck you to his fiancée, and heads down to his unnatural habitat. There were some intelligent animals in this movie, right?
Now you're a Panari baboon.
You killed a totally harmless creature that we can get no use out of. We even see Sobieski's family come with, as her father is totally cool with her diving into piranha-infested waters and getting it on with dances with mullets. Do you see now how a film like this can produce something like that? Experts would describe this as a pretty bad flick. The family connections are considered weak, the logic makes little sense, and most of the jokes are, what's the word I'm looking for? Ah yes, bad. However, a good chunk of animals get hurt, and out here in the jungle, that's always good for ratings. I'm the nostalgia critic.
Way down in the soul, it starts in the heart. Brick by brick and stone by stone, we all find a way to build a wall. And all we get is more